ladies. Hello. Oh, I didn't expect that. I had like a whole thing set up because, you know, usually people are like, hey. I'm like, hey, I had a whole thing. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sick too, so if I start coughing, I apologize. So it's the last day of Women's Month. And we're gonna make it count. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, good, good. So the strife of a woman begins as a little girl. In our complex existence belies a simplicity that is both jarring and beautiful, but before we get there, we have to do an inquiry unto ourselves, figure out who we are. And mine began with pretty girls. I always wanted to be a pretty girl, until I saw them on their knees, with their perfect weaves, lips glistening from white oil spilled by rappers calling them bitches on beautiful beaches. Pretty girls I saw had their backs broken from bumping and grinding on southern sets with beatboxers busting rhymes like I like the way you do it. Mrs. Patty said, pray for the pretty girls trying to be stars so they can drive those fancy cars. I always wanted to be a pretty girl, with long, silky tresses, until I saw them hunched over with cops flocked from every corner and dogged right on her. And as she wailed long and loud for her wet soul slipping down her thigh, I always wanted to be a pretty girl. Until I realized that what I idolized was nothing but smoke, when fire was what I wanted to be. Until I realized that shoe shoes, lined closets wide enough to house refugee camps became the only evidence of a life that they ever had. I always wanted to be a pretty girl. And then I decided, no, pretty girls can stay pretty girls while I metamorphosize into a beautiful woman, Queen Ya. That is I. Thank you. A moment of silence for the girl that was. I don't know if she died or if she transformed into a woman. And we both know that the unknown can be a very scary thing. But you see, Inquisition of self-identity is not meant to be comfortable. It's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be fun, but it is necessary. So I am comforted by a soft, sweet song from a woman humming in my ear. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. And with that, I sink deeper into my inquiry with You Got Me. If I had to imagine, if I had to secretly strip myself of my inhibitions and bathe my body in oil erotica, what would become of me? If Mother Mary from St. Catholic School went to bed and Sister Jacobs' voice silenced itself in my head, what animal would I be hiding? I invite you tonight to the happenings of last night and ask that you hold judgment steady, instead get ready for the unraveling of my true identity. Suppressed by Roman Catholics' indoctrination and freed by the idea of liberty and the sight of Timothy. First, I begin with shit. Apologies to thy Father up above, but I simply need shit. See, you hid the surprise from my mind, eyes, and vagina, because surprises never came in chiseled chests and a tight vest that pleases like the pleasure dagger. I looked at the man and I tried not to drool. His sweat seemed to drip in slow motion, and I began to imagine my body as his faithful devotion. In my home space we were, and my headspace had flown to some outer space, a space where clothes seemed to relocate and things fascinate. I summoned the 6-foot Harlem King, beckoned him with a look in my eyes that spoke of sugar, spice, and a nice surprise. He looked like some delicious decadent dish that was brewing in a pot, and I was right ready and in my cot. You put a piece of meat in front of me, it is going straight into my mouth. That is the natural progression of such a situation, and so it was. Yeah. My lips were his guide into the sultry hollows of my mouth. When my tongue played with him in vertical oscillations, hence where he was dead before he was now up and alive, and I knew he was feeling my vibe. I could tell from the way that his hands grabbed my waist to the way that he kissed my face. I knew that he wanted to do things to me, things that I would like, things that I would love, things that would have me singing in heaven up above, yet I craved him more, wanted to give him more, have him sleeping in some sexual, sensual situation of a galore. We would lift, lock, and legs crossed, and I swear the room must have been shaking from our gyrating, as if the African carnival drum was leading us on into a silent fading. We were slow in our lovemaking, and we fucked hard in our fucking. And we were that poetic justice in our soul connection. Last night, Timothy happened to my body. And I know it happened right back to his. And in that floating, frivolous silence, all I could think to say was, if you were worried about when I would know who I saw, what club I went to with my homies, baby, don't worry, you know that you got me. Thank you. You see, when you realize who you are, when you understand that there is no separation between you and the universe, that you are the universe, you begin to revolutionize the experience that is life. And that brings me to a love inquiry. There really is no way to start a conversation like this. So if you need to order a drink or take a piss, I suggest you take a second before I begin this. Because once I go, not even God's hand can stop this flow. I commonly populate stages, but this is no show, because Nono don't do shows. I prefer to epitomize and personify poetry in its jarring beauty. And for you to understand the frenzy, I have to take you back to Thursday night at the pantry. When he got so close to me, he could smell the sex sweating out my pores. I was perspiring lust. He'd been so good to me for so long. Marinated my thighs with his drool, prepping me for the ultimate ride. And like tithes, he gave to me, like he believed that I would be the one to save his soul from the empty hordes of birds that circled his dock. Now, I haven't been everything under a man's hands. But with his hands pressed firmly against my chest, I must confess I have never been loved or fucked before until I met this man. He infected me with his lovemaking and morphed his body into a cure, affecting me like some spiritual lore. I was sure he was some God sent to resurrect a part of me I thought had died after countless nights of unforgiving loneliness, and Lord, he crippled with his sexiness. But this time, I had no inclination to fight the vortex that palpitated only for his dawn. I let him take his time. As I grew into a restless beast that swore to do just as he pleased, just please, ease that thing into me. And by thing, I mean you, ease that beast into me. And if I scream, don't you dare seize, not until my slit has split into white seas, you see. It wasn't his hardness suctioned by that pussy highness, no. It's how he sang love songs with his cock as his hands kneed into my skin, searching for symptoms of arousal. How he spilled dark secrets with his back flex, complex stigmatizing injections, and my body was split into sections of explorations to be bruised by affections. Skin wet from tongue surging, he covered all ground, came around, touchdown, 2, 3, ooh, wee, baby.
Yes.
4 times I cried. Stifled by this black revelation. He liked me. He loved me. And it wasn't enough to just fuck me. He pined to wake up with me, to talk about nothing and everything in between as we cooled down by the morning breeze. I wanted this dick to live inside of me.
Yes.
I mean, like, occupy my vaginal space on a permanent basis. For this job, I even wrote a song. I know the universe created you for my womb. So Can you dig, can you dig, can you dig? Live inside of me. So can you dig, can you dig, can you dig? Oh baby. Live inside of me. By this time I lost my goddamn mind. But that's alright, because insanity is a sign of satisfaction. Because when a man happens to you the way that he did, you got to slowly pull down your panties and respond to the love inquiry with the same amount of attention and honesty. So once I had recovered what I did, well, there's no room in part 1 for what I did. Now part 2, well, you're gonna have to follow me for that one. Thank you. Alright, so I'm gonna get out of here, but I'm gonna do one more thing. It's more of an oath for my sisters. But before I do, my name is Nomxolisi Ndlangana, also known as Nono The Poet, A.K.A. Nono, or just the Queen. And this is my book right here, Soul Vagina, In Between Sex and God, Who Am I? It is out, it's available today if you want it. It's also available on my website, www.nonothepoet.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Nono The Poet. Yeah, so before I go, you know, us ladies, we have a reputation for being mean to each other. So, yeah, it's true. So, you know what, and I wanna be part of the movement that changes that. Because we're so much better together, you know? We're so much better. So, before I get off this stage, I solemnly swear. Oh, you don't have to do that. That's just. but see, you're there. You're right there with me. You're right. This is what I'm talking about, sisters. I solemnly swear to always hold your hair back when you've had too much to drink at a party. And I promise not to make you feel bad about it the next day, unless you come for me. I promise to hold you when the boy you like won't even text you back, let alone hold you, to remind you that this is what love feels like. I promise to never leave you anywhere for any boy or any man, unless there is a deep desire to ingest his energy. I mean like palate to skin, sweat to whole, because he may be the one and I may need to leave to know. But I would make sure you were liquored up, you got a ride home, and you were safe. And I will give you my location in case I was wrong about this man. I promise to tell you over and over again that you are beautiful, you are smart, you are powerful, you are resilient, you are sexy, and you are a downright badass. And I will keep telling you until you forget about any other human being that ever made you feel like you were anything less than. Because in my cascading liberty that I enjoy in my queendom, I am not leaving behind a single sister. So today, go out into the world, knowing who you are, and act like you know what your name is. You are a woman. And to you, I salute you. Thank you.